Hello, my name is Orla. Welcome to my channel. In this channel I read short stories for children and adults who are interested. In this video I'll be reading another story from Fantasy Stories for Boys and Girls. So get cozy, cuddle down and we will begin. In this video I'll be reading the story of the Cockatrice. Ooh, strange creature. Okay. A long time ago, in a sleepy village, there was an old abbey by a river that had stood empty for many years. Nobody went near it, and some of the villagers even said it was haunted. The only living things that wandered in those dark ruins were the ducks and geese from the river. One day a duck laid an egg which rolled into a dark, dank hole in the ruins. The hole led to the crypt, the space under the abbey that was filled with old tombs. The egg lay there until a fat toad hopped along and sat on the egg until it hatched. When a toad hatches a duck egg, especially in such a dark and mysterious place, something very strange happens. When the egg hatched, out came a small, scaly creature like a dragon. Its wings were covered in green feathers, but it had 4 scaly legs and a long whip-like tail. Its head was a bit like an ugly bird's, but its eyes gleamed bright red like hot coals. It was a cockatrice. That type of a creature. The red eye, the toad mama. The cockatrice lived in the crypt of the abbey and ate all the small creatures it could find until it grew to the size of a crocodile. Then it started to come out of the crypt at night to look for bigger animals to eat. Soon the villagers told tales of a strange dragon-like creature that stole sheep from the fields. It wasn't long until a shepherd was found in the middle of a field one morning, standing still and cold. He had been turned to stone by the cockatrice's gaze. Dangerous animals, see? He's stone. Cockatrice flying away. Now the villagers became very scared. They wouldn't go out at night in case they saw the cockatrice's red eyes and got turned to stone themselves. The mayor of the village offered a large plot of land to anyone who could kill the beast. It wasn't long before everyone was thinking how they could win the land and become a hero. They say cockatrices can't kill weasels, said one villager. Nonsense, said another. Everyone knows that a cockatrice will die if it hears a rooster crow. The only man in the village who didn't seem bothered about the cockatrice was Tom Green. He was a glassmaker who spent all his time making delicate ornaments, panes of glass for windows and mirrors. I'm sure the cockatrice will go away in time, he said. But the other villagers tried everything they could to defeat the monster. One villager collected weasels and let them loose down the hole. The legend was true, and the weasels seemed immune to the cockatrice's evil glare. But the cockatrice simply ate up all the weasels until there was none left. One brave man even took a rooster down to the cockatrice's lair. The villagers heard it crow, but then they saw the man run out of the lair as fast as he could. The beast turned the rooster to stone, he panted. Soon, many knights came to the village. They put on their heavy armour and picked up their great swords. Then they climbed down into the dark crypt where the cockatrice lived, but none of them ever came out again. Things went from bad to worse until nobody would come and visit the village at all, and Tom found that nobody wanted to buy his glass either. There were no travellers to buy his ornaments, and the villagers boarded up their windows to stop the cockatrice looking in, so they didn't need any window glass. Ooh. That's Tom there. The boarded up windows. He isn't happy. I've had enough of this cockatrice, thought Tom. I'm going to get rid of it once and for all. When Tom told the villagers that he was going to slay the cockatrice, they laughed at him. You're just a glassmaker, they said. But Tom had a plan. He spent weeks and weeks making the largest, best mirror he could. It was so big Tom could only just about carry it. It had a large hook on the top. When the mirror was finished, Tom took his rusty old sword, the mirror, and a piece of rope. He lowered the mirror into the cockatrice's lair. If I can get the cockatrice to stare at its reflection, he thought, it will turn itself to stone. Tom sat at the edge of the hole and waited until he heard the cockatrice slithering up to the mirror. But when it looked at the mirror, the cockatrice didn't die, because it was immune to its own deadly gaze. Tom Green was about to pull the mirror out and run away as fast as he could when he noticed a curious thing. The cockatrice was hissing and spitting at the mirror. It opened its beak-like mouth and started scratching and butting at the mirror. Ooh, he's fighting his reflection. What's in there? Fighting. It thinks its reflection is another cockatrice, thought Tom. He held the mirror while the cockatrice swiped and clawed at it. Tom almost dropped it, but he held on as hard as he could. The cockatrice fought its reflection for many hours until it was completely exhausted. With a giant sigh, the cockatrice fell back. Its deadly eyes were closed and it could hardly move. As quick as a flash, Tom jumped down into the cockatrice's lair. It was filled with statues of warriors. Those must be the knights that the cockatrice turned to stone, thought Tom. The cockatrice heard Tom approach and roared. It began to twitch its eyelids, but before it could open its eyes, Tom struck it with his rusty old sword. As soon as the sword touched the creature, its body turned to stone. There we go. Tom got the cockatrice. Look at all these guys. Stone, stone, stone. When the villagers heard the news, they rejoiced. The mayor gave Tom a plot of land and he built a fine new glassworks on it. People came from miles around to buy his glass models of the cockatrice and to hear him tell the story of how he defeated lighted it. The stone cockatrice was put on top of the abbey and stayed there for many years until it crumbled into dust. But even now, nobody in the sleepy village will keep ducks or eat their eggs, just in case one of those eggs hatches into another deadly cockatrice. Would you blame him? And that's Tom, or that's the Abbey, Tom, and the stone cockatrice. The end. Another great story from Fantasy Stories for Boys. Until the next one, bye bye.